Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary, revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom. Finally, I know many of you were listening to my radio show this last week, so thank you for that. That took the substitute for the video of the celestial wisdom video. So tonight's to be able to have those kinds of outlets, if you will. And thanks, Joan, always for help in getting that out there to everyone. Hopefully, you have been able to feel some of the positive effects as Mercury is turned direct on the 25th here. So this is going to be an energetic and astrological update for the following week, which is April 29th, 28th through May 4th. And the big players this week, of course, I mentioned Mercury's direct. It's still waking up from its nap. So think about it that way. I'm fascinated to see how on the day that Mercury stations direct, there's still things that pop up for us to work with that have the residue of the retrograde. And so while Mercury is in shadow until another 10 to 11 days, we're still going to be feeling some of the redos, revisits, whatevers that may show up for us to work with. But the good news is that this is the third pass of Mercury in these different degrees. So whatever shows up now can be dealt with and finalized. I feel that if for some reason we feel like it's been put off or it's just not what it was, to our satisfaction. So that's part of where we're at. And just a little announcement, I am going to be live again on Monday for my radio show. So if you have a chance to come over to 1-2 Radio, and we have a Facebook chat room and you can just listen. I'll be there at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And also, as if you listen to my show this last week, you know that Oliver Guthorm was my guest, and I'm going to be on his show in another week or so. So I'm excited to always spend time with him. There's always some wonderful insights and laughs and just chit chat. One of the things I often think of Oliver and my conversations a lot like the Jerry Seinfeld show, where sometimes we just talk about nothing and we think it's hysterical, and I love it. So, anyways, just throwing that out there. One of the things I like to do, as you know, with the Celestial Wisdom is give you your card of the week, and so I have my Celtic Tarot deck here that I use, and I pulled the Chariot. So Chariot upright. Hopefully you can see that. It is the card of willpower, determination, strength. Here we are. Here's some planetary movements that are happening this week. We're going to have Venus on Monday in her home sign of Taurus. Tuesday, Mars moves into his home sign of Aries. Now, I'll talk a little bit more energetically about what that means, but I find it fascinating that the Chariot was the card for the Venus in Taurus and Mars in Aries energy, because with Venus in Taurus, Venus, like I say, is in its home sign. Taurus is that strong, stable, earthy sign, right? That gives us that strength, that foundation. And then and also we know with Taurus, it's very determined, right? Well, with Aries, we also have willpower. That's that strength of will, and Mars wants to take action and get things done. And in its home sign, it's at full strength. Well, the Chariot, again, I'll point back to that: willpower, determination, strength. So we are discovering how to make decisions and then adjust along the way. And now we're taking action on some of these decisions we've made. I have a personal story about how I felt very brave enough to plant a seed. I haven't had a conversation with this person yet, but I at least told them, hey, here's a subject matter that I really want to talk about with you when the time comes, when we're ready for it, that sort of thing. And for me, that was a big thing, because in this lifetime, part of my blueprint is being able to speak my truth and speak to what I need and what I want. And so being able to give myself that voice was important. So we'll see where it goes. As of this recording, there has been no further conversation around it. So who knows? And the other thing I love about the Chariot is that this is not the time to be passive in the hope that things are going to work out in our favor. It's time to take focused action, stick to the course, no matter what challenges come our way. And yes, there are going to be challenges. We're going to be pushing, we're going to be testing, right? And so as we move forward, there could be resistance that shows up. That doesn't mean to stop. And with Venus in Taurus and Mars in Aries, we're pushing and we got that willpower. It's like going to the gym and lifting a heavy weight. You're going to get the resistance there, but it's there to build that strength and build that muscle. And with Venus and Taurus, we're going to be determined and we're going to be able to find the ability to push through that resistance. One of the things I love about resistance is that it does help me find my limitations. And it says, okay, I'm going to push. And now maybe I need to back off a little bit. Maybe I need to take a moment to breathe, to reassess, whatever it might be. This is how we use the energy of Mercury coming out of retrograde and shadow still. So there, it gives us a chance to kind of reset still. And then we look at that resistance and we find that willpower to push, push, push again and increase those muscles, if you will. And so we're looking at this also through the lens of relationship, of course. And so we may find that our conversations and our activities and the decisions we make within our selves is all affecting our different types of relationships. Whether it's like my example of having a conversation about a subject matter that's important to me with someone, that it will, that decision, whatever we decide, will affect our relationship, right? But even though I might be met with some resistance throughout what I want versus what they want in this conversation, if I can stay with it, if I can really trust in saying, maybe now's not the time, because when I planted the seed, it wasn't the time for the conversation. And I knew that. And then there was a little pushback that evening. And it was like, okay, but it wasn't the time either for us to go deeper into the conversation. These are like little seeds that keep getting planted, and then when the time comes, things open up. So give yourself permission also this week, moving into the next couple weeks as Venus and Mars are moving in their home signs, for spaciousness to happen. Mars in Aries doesn't like space. It just wants to go, right? Well, with Venus in Taurus, though, she is able to create that little bit of space so that we can enjoy our sensual nature, so that we can really focus on the things that ignite or invite that sensuality. And it's not just sexuality, even that's part of it, because sexuality is the body and the touch and all of that, but it's really about the five and even six senses. Yeah. So we create a little space to enjoy the meal that we're ingesting, or we create a little bit of space to digest it. Or maybe we decide we want to purchase something. We put it off because Mercury was retrograde. Now we're ready to make a purchase, a luxury purchase that makes us feel good, that gives us some comfort and some joy. And it just, and maybe we take a moment just to enjoy it. I think that's the thing I really love about having Venus in her home sign of Taurus, is she invites us to slow down and just enjoy the things that bring us comfort and awaken our senses. Now, we're also probably going to find ourselves attracted to people who value our talents and skills. This is going to help in our relationship dynamics, because we're looking at this from like, who lines up with me? And if they don't line up with me, why am I spending that time there? We're going to have a new moon the following week. We just came off of a full moon in Scorpio. We'll be having a new moon in Taurus. That'll be coming in another week. And so using this week's energy to make decisions, test things out, try things out, see who aligns with it, who values us. All of that is going to inform us when this new moon in Taurus arrives to say, okay, what is it that I want to start doing that continues to build upon the decisions and actions I've made? Because Taurus loves to build things. It wants to stabilize and anchor in, right? And so we're looking at also the people who can help us build. It's one thing to do it alone. It's another thing to do it with people that really value and support us. And we can find ourselves taking some calculated risk during this time. Like I say, having those courageous conversations, or going out and starting your business, or starting something that, or taking some actions that you wouldn't normally take, but you've thought about it for a while and you measured it out. Now's the time to do it and start to see some of those things sprouting. I mean, it is springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. And so we're seeing flowers coming up, pushing up and all of that. And so this is the time now where we start to see some of the manifestations of the actions, of the conversations that we have had and have taken over the last couple of weeks. And as I mentioned before, with Mercury being retrograde, not everything as it appears to be. However, we now get the opportunity to be able to see the results of the miscommunications, the results of we get clarification at this time. And now we can start manifesting in a way that feels more in alignment with what we were ultimately trying to accomplish. And we get to do it with people that we care about, that care about us, like I say, that value us and that sort of thing. And I would say, don't be surprised how things emerge, pop up unexpectedly for us to work with. And try not to get offended easily by these things, but ground. Use this Venus and Taurus energy to ground deeply and then respond. That's that Mars in Aries. It likes to be impulsive, of course, but that impulsivity, if it's grounded, can manifest some really powerful results. All right, you guys, I hope that this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Help me grow this audience. I would love it. And come find me at 12listen, jamiedawn.com. As I mentioned, I'll be on 12 Radio on Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So it's 2 p.m. Eastern if you have a chance to listen live. Otherwise, there will be archives and replays as well. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. Have a great week.